What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the City Life Project YouTube channel for yet another preview, picks, and predictions video here on the channel covering UFC Fight Night, Moreno versus Erceg, also known as UFC, what is it, UFC on ESPN 60-something rather. Literally the UFC, they have UFC on ESPN Plus numbers, UFC on ESPN, UFC Fight Night numbers, UFC Apex numbers, and of course their numbered events. Thank God for Wikipedia, ladies and gentlemen. UFC Mexico for short, and we're going to go over the entire card here. I'll give my picks. I will give more of a preview than my picks. I think that's more of the value of this piece of content, is just maybe a little extra a little extra layer. I know everybody and their dog does UFC preview videos, and I actually watch quite a bit as well. But maybe you get something else out of this one if you are on the fence. Making your picks as well. And there are some decent underdogs on this card. But anyways, let's get right into it, guys. We'll be more interactive on the streams later today. We're going to join the main card of FCR after this. The stream's already up. After that, we're going to jump into UFC right when UFC starts. Right after UFC, we'll jump over to the Ryzen previews. And then Sunday, check out the community tab, or I guess it's called the post tab now on YouTube. You guys decide what we stream on Sunday. I'm only going to do one show, okay? I know there's three. I'm only going to do one, preferably later in the day because we'll be streaming all night for Ryzen, but the options are there. Comment on that post. More on that on the next stream. But let's get to this first one, ladies and gentlemen. We have Markel Medeiros against Austin Hubbard. Should be honestly a pretty good fight here to open up the card. Hell yeah, K1, hell yeah. Good to see G-Force Bond, by the way, and K1 in the live chat. I'm going to go Medeiros on this one. Minus 160 for Hubbard at the plus 135. I think the odds are fair in this one. Hubbard, not a bad underdog, just has that gritty style, but Medeiros is just more dangerous. Now, Medeiros is unproven in the UFC, which is why I love this matchup and kind of like Hubbard, because we've been seeing, especially out of the latest crop of Dana White Contender Series guys, or the last two crops, I should say, to be fair, that some have done really good, and it's like, yep, you're ready for this, and some have struggled against veterans and just roster guys in the UFC, and what more of a typical roster slash veteran guy than Austin Hubbard here. He did lose his last fight against Alex Hernandez, close fight there, beat Figlak, which was a good win, lost to Hollowbuck. Hollowbuck's, you know, very much a scrappy guy as well, but a little bit more jiu-jitsu. But yeah, Markel Medeiros, man, 9-1 as a pro, 5-0 in his last 5. Factory X guy. So I'm not sure if Hubbard's still at elevation, but this could be a freaking Colorado gym versus Colorado gym matchup if so. And both them trained at elevation, so Mexico City shouldn't be too much of a problem. Has good kicks, but is known for that knockout power. I mean, everyone has good kicks out of Factory X except for Cody Brundage, right? 3 decisions, 1-0 in the UFC, 1-0 off Contender Series, and he will be competing in his second UFC fight after beating Landon Quinones, who's not bad, not great, but like a tough guy, good boxer with KO power in his own right. And on the regional scene, not the best guys, but 5-0, 5-1 sprinkled here and there as well. Just showed he has, just showed me anyways that he's more dangerous. Obviously, Austin Hubbard more well-rounded, and it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see what happens if Austin Hubbard maybe tries to take this to the ground if he can get there, because Medeiros does have some nasty knees. Hey, good to see you exploring the cog. Thank you so much for stopping by. We'll be a little bit more interactive in the next stream. And again, yeah, Medeiros minus 160, given how new he is to the UFC still, I don't mind that at all. Next fight here with Jamall Emmers against Gabriel Miranda. I'm going to go with Jamall Emmers on this one. Huge favorite in this one, and again, I would kind of think he'd be more of like minus 300. Apparently he opened up around there. But let's be honest, he's probably going to win this one. 20-8 as a pro, getting up there in age, 2-3 in his last 5 fights, lose one, win one, lose one, win one type of guy. Lost to Nate Landwehr almost a year ago. Before then, beat Bazooka, which was a good win. Lost to Jack Jenkins. That was a close fight and actually a good performance by Emmers. He's actually been, I mean, other than this last calendar year, he was actually pretty active before then. So maybe, you know, after the knockout at his age, you know, taking some time to recover. Gabriel Miranda, like pretty much the complete opposite type of fighter, more of a jiu-jitsu guy, where Emmers is a well-rounded mixed martial artist with KO power Doesn't throw a lot of shots, not a volume striker by any means, for the most part anyways. You know, has been in his fair share of wars, but still. Well-rounded fighter who has really good power. Gabriel Miranda, not that much of a striker. Does have some fly jiu-jitsu and I guess a fly mustache as well, but only 1 KO TKO, 8 or 16 submissions. Like, who is this guy? Like a half Brazilian, half Japanese guy competing in Ryzen? Like, what is this shit? 0 decisions. So I mean, that is like the fun thing about Gabriel Miranda is he's only lost via decision. He's never won via decision, but will he be able to sub and control Emmers, who's going to be stronger than him, who has decent wrestling and is just more well-rounded? No, he's not. Shout out to Miranda, by the way, going and developing in Brave for a few fights. Always love to see that. And actually fought some decent guys over there. Yeah, beat Shane Young, lost to Saint Denis, lost to Cháirez, and honestly, he's probably going to lose to Jamall Emmers as well, who has 8 KO TKOs, 3 submissions, and 9 decisions, respectfully. Good LFA run. Has done okay in the UFC. But yeah, we're going Emmers on this one. What's up, Vasco? Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. All right, next we have Rafa García against Vinc Pichel. Oh man, if Vinc Pichel was like 38 even, I would pick him in a friggin' heartbeat, ladies and gentlemen. But it's just like, you just don't know when you're gonna see a huge dip in performance. And look, he's on a 2-fight losing streak. Did not look bad against Bonfim. Lost the fight. But honestly, the whole time he was walking forward, you could see it in Bonfin's face. He was like, what the fuck is going on? And honestly, we were saying the same thing watching that fight. So he's still got some dog in him. He still has a good chin. He's got a good high guard. He kind of looks like Sean Strickland the way he strikes. But, you know, he's decently well-rounded as well. Okay takedown defense. I mean, he's been in the game for so long, but you think Vinc Pichel, you think, you know, stand and bang. Lost to Mark Madsen, but again, wasn't knocked out. Did he take a lot of damage in the Bonfim fight? Yes, but took 10 months off. Before then, had a year off against Mark Madsen, took some damage in that one as well. Mind you, he took on an 11-0 Mark Madsen, right? So, like, shout out to him. Obviously, has not been super active, but if you do look at his 3 wins prior, again, they were a long time ago, but overall of age decent. Like, took out a young Roosevelt Roberts, who hasn't really done anything in his pro MMA career, let's be honest, but still. Beat Jim Miller at that time. He was still buzzing. And Austin Hubbard, who was still in the UFC at that time before his return. I don't think Garcia is going to knock him out. I think Garcia wins. But Vinc Pichel as an underdog here, I mean, like, why not? Why not? Unanimous decision. Maybe he throws more volume. Maybe he doesn't get hit as much. Look, I think he's going to lose. But like minus 500 to Rafa Garcia, that's a slap in the face to Vinc Pichel. So like, I hope it's competitive. I dropped $2 on Vinc Pichel, just might as well. There it is again, Shane. UK's top picker in double rush hour Fight Club champ. Thank God it's an early card. Thoughts on Myanmar and Bangkok? Yes. Prayers, warm thoughts. Hope everybody's okay. I hope everybody who's not okay can get the help and support that they need. Hopefully, yeah, it's devastating what happened there. Hey, what's up, Scott Young? Good to see you. Yeah, Rafa Garcia, 16-4 as a pro, 3-2 in his last 5. He's fine. He's like okay everywhere, not great anywhere. Out of elevation fight team, which is good. So, you know, maybe he'll be able to push a pace like we've seen Vinc Pichel be able to do in his career, but not that elevation. 8 submissions, yeah, more of a grappler than a striker. Having said that, I think he's going to strike with Vinc Pichel and probably win a decision via just like volume and a little bit more damage. If Vinc Pichel can stuff any of the takedowns that Garcia throws, again, I still think Garcia is going to win the fight on the feet, but I think Vinc Pichel has a better chance of winning just boxing, but we'll see. 8-0 Combate America, 4-4 in the UFC. You lost to Grant Dawson, beat Clay. See, this is the thing, like, this guy's okay. Pretty good win. Clay Guida, you know what I mean? Close beat him. Dawson beat him. Levy's not that great. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Garcia. I'm not impressed by your performance. But it's tough to pick Vinc Pichel to win this one, but did drop a couple bucks on him. A cheeky toonie on Vince. Absolutely. Absolutely. Good to see you, Chris Gray. Good to see you. All right, moving up the card, we got Julia Polastri against Lupita Godinez. Honestly, man, this one all comes down to the fight between the ears, as they say in the hockey world. The fight IQ, as they say in the fight world. Lupita Godinez has every tool and all the experience to win this fight. Experience against the like way higher competition that have Julia Polastri. Having said that, it's just like fight IQ. Like she'll out wrestle girls and then rely on the striking. She'll outstrike girls and then just like clinch up. So I think it's all between the ears. Her sister competed in the Olympics this last go around in wrestling, which was sweet. She's well rounded. I would say a stronger, like just wrestler, and I hate to say it, but like clinch pressure and short shot fighter, than just straight boxer. But she actually does have pretty good striking against lesser competition here. Julia Polastri, I guess you could say well rounded. Decent jiu-jitsu, decent striking, but it's just a level under Lupita Godinez. Like, you just watch their fights and you can just see in their technique. She is scrappy, though, and if Lupita Godinez shoots herself in the foot here, and again, shows some poor fight IQ, some poor decision-making, Polastri could squeeze this one out because she has done that in the past. I mean, against Corey McKenna, but again, that's the thing. Like, Lupita Godinez is so much better than Corey McKenna, in my opinion. Good win, yeah, on Contender Series. Knutson just beat her everywhere. Knutson's solid. Polastri was competitive in that one. But yeah, Lupita Godinez lost against Mackenzie Dern, lost against Janji Roba, and honestly, 2 winnable fights for her. I'm picking Lupita Godinez, but man, the fight IQ is always the question. We haven't even gotten there yet, Sean. We haven't even gotten there yet. All right. We got Costa versus Rodríguez next, ladies and gentlemen. And this one should be a fun one, man. This one should be a fun one. And I think Costa is a great underdog. Honestly, I think he's the best, one of the best underdogs on the card. And I say that because he ain't no prospect that Christian Rodríguez is just taken out like that freaking Grim Reaper meme, right? Going through every door, locker room, or whatever it is, and you put your sports team names on it, usually in the playoffs. Anyways, I digress. Yeah, let's go. And Lupita Godinez, trains out of Vancouver, British Columbia, or has in the past anyway, so shout out to her. C-Rod's been taking out all the prospects, but oh, weird, goes up against a veteran in Julian Erosa and losing. Like, Costa's far from a veteran, but he's not a prospect anymore, man. If you look at, he's 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Lost to Steve Garcia, who's on a fucking tear right now. What is it, like 5 or 6 wins in a row, all knockout? I think all in like the first or second round as well. Like, it's something crazy like that. So no shame in that. And Moises, 2 years ago, Moises still solid, right? No shame in those 2 losses. Came in on short notice against Moises too and actually looked good in the first round. Lingo's a whatever fighter, but beat him. Beat a very experienced guy there. Padded record, but still. Beat Andre Philly. Submitted him. That's a good win. So that's just the thing. Like, I think Christian Rodríguez might meet his match on the feet because Bashi has no boxing. Christian Rodríguez was able to outbox him and prove himself in the grappling as well, as we've seen with him. Dalgarian, well, honestly, Dalgarian should have won that fight. Christian Rodríguez, what he showed in all these fights is he has dog. Even if his opponent is gassed in the third, he can, and he'll show that he's gassed, he'll still just pull through and get the win. And that's something that I don't know if Costa can do, which is why I'm picking Rodríguez to win. But again, dropped a little toonie on Costa. I don't really gamble. You guys are the experts. But if I am going to, it's going to be on like an underdog like this that I have some confidence with, or on, like I said, old man Pichel against freaking García. Are you kidding me? But anyways, I think Costa could win this fight by winning the first 2 rounds or potentially finding a finish, submission perhaps, some ground and pound. I do think he's big for the weight class. Now, Christian Rodríguez, this is his weight class. He was big for 135, but yeah, this one really could go either way. I think if it goes, C-Rod could. If C-Rod wins round 1 or 2, I do think he's going to win round 3 regardless, because I think at elevation and just at how high of a pace this fight should be, again, all predictions here, the 3rd round, Christian Rodríguez should just dog his way through the 3rd round like he does in seemingly all of his fights. The first 2 rounds of Costa comes out fucking swinging or employs some good wrestling and jiu-jitsu. He could either finish him rear naked choke perhaps, or just by out-muscling him, because again, C-Rod's grappling, it's good. I'm not saying Costa's going to dominated in the grappling by any means, but it is a path to victory. But in the boxing, just straight up striking, I think C-Rod will meet his match on the feet. Again, I'm picking C-Rod to win, but I do like Costa as an underdog. Yo, what's up, Brando? I got C-Rod. I like his defensive wrestling. Yeah, no, he's good, man. He's good. I just think this is just such a good matchup, right? No more prospects. And, you know, going up against a guy at the same level for Costa now. So I'm excited for this one. Exactly. This ain't Costa, you know, 2 years ago, right? Coming into the UFC. Are there stuff like parts of his game that can be exposed? Absolutely. And I think honestly his gas tank in the third round is one of those big ones. Where Christian Rodriguez again will visibly look slow, but just fucking dog his way through to a victory. All right, this next fight, another interesting one where look, we're all picking the same guy, but I think our eyebrows are all raised a little bit as well. Ateba Gautier against Jose Medina. Now Jose Medina against lesser opponents can take them down, ground and pound them, or outbox them. Against guys of like high regional and UFC level, he relies on that Bolivian chin, which I would argue is honestly more iron than that of a Argentinian, Mexican, dare I say Peruvian. Dude, this guy against Joe Pyfer, or sorry, not Joe Pyfer, Zach Reese, other pasty white boy, took so much damage. It was insane. And if it wasn't for Zach Reese, like, honestly tiring himself out, going for takedowns early, like, it might have been like a standing TKO or a throwing in of the towel or a Herb Dean minute of pain, right? Honestly, that was an absolute beatdown. But he stayed in it. And if anything, it made it for a fun fight because we were kind of just praising. I remember watching it live. We're all just kind of like praising Medina, being like, this is insane. This is insane. Ateba Gautier relies on knocking guys out, right? A guy he's only gone to decision twice in his career, right? And I think once was an amateur as well. He's the huge favorite here because he's confident knocking guys out, and he looked good on Dana White's Contender Series, and he was going up against a grappler, and he was able to catch him. But he was given a little bit of trouble in the first round. Again, a little bit of trouble. But yeah. Other than that, hasn't faced the best guys and has knocked them all out. Lost split decision of Budo Fighting Championship, which is a good league, but again, against a guy making his debut, and that was the only time he went the distance other than, I guess we don't know, as an amateur. Okay, first two fights went to decision. Won one, lost one, has been knocking guys out since, so very unproven, definitely has the death touch, but Medina's got the chin that I think can withstand the death touch. So Gautier will probably win on damage and volume, just like Zach Reese won, but he could slow down, and it's just a matter of when in the fight, right? It's just a matter of when, and if Medina can take advantage of that. I am picking Gautier to win. Again, Cameroon power versus Bolivia chin, man. It's insane. It's like when two freaking, I don't know, planets collide, like, or stars collide, right? Just big ass explosion, or I guess just the complete opposite, a freaking slogfest. But we shall see. We shall see. I got $2 on the chin. It all depends if Medina can take the shots from Gautier, and when Gautier gasses for Medina to win this one. It should go Gautier by volume and by damage. And maybe and it's not like Medina has the greatest takedowns or grappling against good opponents. Having said that, has Gautier really been tested that much? A little bit. Again, I'll give him credit. In the last fight, he was able to get back up to his feet, was able to stuff takedowns against a pretty good wrestler. I'm just not confident in that of Jose Medina. Although Medina did look like he was in pretty good shape coming into this one. But yeah, you just look at his record as well, man. There's some good wins, but like, we're going Gautier. We're going Gautier. But I'm weirdly excited to watch Medina fight. More than Gautier, if that's fucked up. Another guy that I'm excited to see fight is Edgar Cháirez. I think Edgar Cháirez is an underappreciated UFC roster fighter. Always is in exciting fights, whether it's a crazy grapple fest or a freaking brawl, like in his last fight against Joshua Van. What a tremendous fight. Like, both of their stocks went up after that one. I honestly thought he would lean more on his jiu-jitsu in that one. I didn't think he would match Joshua Van on the feet. And man, in moments of that fight, in good portions of that fight, he really did. He's a lanky, tall flyweight. So does cut a lot of weight, which will be interesting to see how he just does, fighting at elevation after cutting all that weight. I know he does train in Mexico, but I don't know if he trains at the highest elevation there. But regardless, 11-6 as a pro. You look at his record and you kind of think, is Cháirez that good? Yeah, man, he's a well-rounded fighter, and he is levels above that of CJ Vergara, in my opinion. Other than just the straight, wrestling, he's way better overall grappler, slick jiu-jitsu, good boxer, solid just striker on the outside as well, has decent low kicks, good up against the cage. Yeah, damn rights he should be the favorite in this one. 2-2-1 in his last 5 fights, 4 KO TKO, 7 submissions, 0 decisions. That's what we like to see, cabrón. That's what we like to see. Pinche cabrón. 1 minute, 1-2-1 in the UFC. Going right into play-by-play mode as FCR just started, by the way, guys, on UFC Fight Pass. We'll be joining that broadcast in like 20 minutes. I have it on screen here in the corner on my phone. That's my brain just went to calling that. Anyways, good win against Lacerda, against fun fight against Joshua Van. Really good performance against Tatsuro Terra. So what I have in my notes here is man, he had a good grappling performance against Terra. Terra did not dominate him and went back and forth. The rightful guy won. Just like with Joshua Van. It went back and forth in all areas. That was just a great MMA fight, but in the striking in particular. And the right guy won. Again, on the regional scene, didn't beat the best guys. Yeah, lost to Clayton Carpenter on Dana White's Contender Series. Great win in Fury. Ripped up UWC, ripped up Combate. And it's just developed over the years. I really like his game. CJ Vergara, he's basically Chelsea Chandler. Dude just runs around in the fucking cage, man. 7 KO TKO, 0 submissions, 5 decision. I think even though he's got KO power, I think Vergara's got a better chin. I think Vergara can still outstrike him. 3-4 in the UFC. Lost to Mirov. Lost to Amabayev. I think this is it for CJ Vergara. I'm going with Cháirez. I don't even think Vergara's that good of an underdog, to be honest. All right, let's get to the next one. Yo, what's up, Harsh? Good to see you. Good to see you. Again, guys, we're going to jump over and join the main card of FCR coverage right after this. We got Ronaldo Rodríguez versus Kevin Borjas. Now, my boy Artem MMA, soon to be Uncle Artem. Fucking love Artem's breakdowns. By the way, he made a great video on the announcement of the new season of Road to UFC, so go check that out as well. He ripped Kevin Borjas a new one. Dude, he ripped him, and honestly, I'm not gonna go as far as say I'm a fan, but I watch so many fights, and if there's memorable performances, it's etched in my brain, or I take notes, and I liked Kevin Borjas on the regional scene, and and in his Contender Series win. Now Victor Diaz, he's good, not great, but he's good. I really like the performance. I think he deserved a contract. A lot of people were not happy with him getting a contract. But it was just a good fucking dogfight, and I think that's why the UFC assigned him. And they gave him Joshua Van in his first fight. Tough fight. And look, he just got outclassed in that one overall, but did crack Joshua Van at some points and actually gave him some trouble in certain points of the fight. But overall, yeah, Joshua Van did school him. And it was tough to watch him get knocked out against Alessandro Costa. TKO'd, just beaten everywhere. But you look at Ronaldo Rodríguez, man. 17-2 as a pro. I think the odds are perfect in this one. I think the odds are perfect. A little bit more experience. Definitely more marketable. So I think the UFC would rather invest in Lazy Boy here. The Mexico market versus the proven market's growing, right? Inca, FFC. But then they want this guy to do good. But he's got to prove himself against, a young guy who's decent on the regional scene as well, and Borjas, to stay in the UFC, has to win this fight, to be perfectly honest. Rodríguez, he beat Ode Osborne, but it was a close fight. It was a back and forth fight, and Ode Osborne gave him a lot of issues. Bondar's not that great, so I don't rate that win that well, but he did finish him, so he knew the assignment and got it done. Before then, he didn't beat the greatest guy in Luke's. Londono's pretty good. Victor Moreno's pretty good, but it was a close fight, and it's just I think Kevin Borjas' performances on the regional scene were better than Rodríguez. Now, does Rodríguez have more tools than him and better jiu-jitsu? 100%. And is Borjas' striking polished? No, but he's a fucking scrapper with a good chin, and if he can keep us on the feet, I think he can do enough to win this one. I think he can do it enough to win this one. 8 KO TKOs, 0 submissions, 1 decision. 4-2 guy. Lost to this guy. 9-5, 8-4, 11. Yeah, Victor Diaz. Honestly, his best win there, and it just showed that he's got dog. He did finish the cans on the regional scene, but he just looked better in those fights than even Rodríguez did in some of the same like fights against lesser opponents as well. Obviously, the record is a bit better, especially right before coming into the UFC, and he has more experience, so he should be the favorite. I think the odds are fair. I think Borjas is going to be looking for that knockout, though, and be just, like, a little bit more hungry here. So I am going to go Borjas. I am risking it for the biscuit in this one. I don't think his striking's as bad as our boy Artem MMA made it out to be in his prediction video. Totally understand why Rodríguez is the favorite. He has more tools and he's a little bit more dangerous on the ground. But again, like Lupita, Godinez, fight IQ. We know what Borjas is going to do. He's going to go in there and scrap, try to keep this on the feet, try to knock you out or do damage, right? That has always been his game plan. That is the type of fighter that he is. If Rodríguez goes, okay, let's do it, you know, he could get cracked. And that's what I'm banking on. That's what I'm banking on. Yo, thank you so much for the $2 donation. Did you just wake up from your long nap? Great coverage of Arise last night by the Idaho Skatesman, by the way. Polastri by decision, Boran by KO, Piper by sub. Yo, let's go, Chris Cushman. Lazy boy missed weight, living up to the name. Well, there you go. There you go. I just got done watching your Rise stream. Yeah, I caught up with it too. There you go. There you go. Hey, thank you so much, buddy. Quick trip tonight. Quick trip tonight. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Speaking of let's go. We got 15 minutes till we're going to jump on the FCR stream. We got a few more fights to get into here, so let's move up the card. David Martinez against Simon Oliveira. I mean, this one's pretty straightforward, I think, for all of us. We're going David Martinez, the Black Spartan. He's out of Mexico. He's the heavy favorite. I don't mind the odds on this one at all. 11-1 as a pro. He's very well-rounded and a very dangerous striker. So I think he'll be able to keep this on the feet. I think he'll be able to either stuff takedowns and or win the clinch battles. Oliveira, yeah, dangerous on the ground, but is not even near close to David Martinez's striking skills, in my opinion. 9 KO TKOs, 2 decisions. 0 submission losses, 0 submission wins. This guy goes in there to take heads off. Great win on Contender Series, 6-1 in Combate Global. Defended his title in Combate Global. Beat a 5-1 guy to get it. Defended against a 23-9 guy. So shout out to him there. Maybe he was even double champ. I don't know what happened between here, if it was a different weight or not. But regardless, decent resume against the cans. He knocks them out early. So, and even the 6, like he beat a 6-2 guy when he was 2-0. Now has this guy gone on to do anything? Just hasn't fought in a while. Simon Oliveira, 3-2 in his last 5, 18-5 as a pro. 5 KO TKOs, 11 submissions, 0-2 in the UFC. Good win on a Contender Series. Shout out to him going to ACB and getting absolutely thrown to the wolves, as the Brazilians do over there. Lost to Marcos, lost to Gravely. I mean, beat a 7-2 guy to win the Sicario MMA belt, which, hey, beat a good guy to win the belt. Beat a 12-2. Honestly, has some decent wins on the regional scene. Whenever, I like how he just bounces around. Holy fuck. Went to Pancrase. Honestly, when I overlooked that when I was taking my notes here. That's pretty good. It's gone like Fight Club Slam, Aspera, fucking ACB, Pancrase. Damn, okay. Still leans on his jiu-jitsu. Striking's not the level of Dave Martinez. Dave Martinez is probably going to finish him. And again, I like his takedown defense as well. I'll give my parlay ideas at the end of the rundown. I don't know why Spark Carlos is still happening, because it will most likely end in... Oh, it is going to end in a no contest. I guess he just still wants some money. Dude, what the fuck, Spike Carlisle, right? Like, what the fuck, dude? It's so annoying. He's had weight issues in the past, and it's like, you're supposed to be the American that showed us that, like, you ain't just a fatty. You ain't just a Juan Archuleta missing weight every fucking time and rising fatty. Like, you can have a hamburger steak and some katsu after the fight, goddammit, Spike Carlisle. Jesus Christ. I know Family Mart and freaking 7-Eleven Japan is good shit. But come on, dude. Come on. 48 hours, Spike Carlisle. 48 hours, man. At least the fight isn't canceled. But and Ryzen even set him up for a victory. Okay, I'm getting off track here, guys. Getting off track here. No way. Pyfer fight canceled? No way. Breaking news. What the fuck? Hey, bonjour, mon ami. Good morning. Let's go. Damn. That's unfortunate. Okay, well, yesterday he was plus 100. So there you go. There you go. My bad. My bad. Yesterday was plus 100. And that's when I did my notes. All right. Hold on. Is this confirmed? What are you saying, huh, about? Piper got the sniffles. What's up, Sven? Oh, shit. Breaking news. Dun, 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 dun. Don't be like Joe Pyfer. Don't get the sniffles. Yeah, UFC news. Due to illness, Joe Pyfer has been removed from his middleweight bout with Kelvin Gastelum tonight. Who would have thunk that it was Joe Pyfer out of that duo? Damn. Well, there you go. There you go. All right, moving up the card, we have Raul Rosas Jr. against Vince Morales. I was going to pick Joe Pyfer to win, by the way. Just saying. Raul Rosas Jr. against Vince Morales. Now, this has been a tough little run for Vince Morales, ladies and gentlemen. I think he's too good for the regional scene. And, like, just can't get over the hump in the UFC. He had a great run upon being cut from the UFC in his first round. Great gym, great training partners, 7 KO TKOs, 5 submissions, 4 decisions. Very well-rounded. His straight-up takedown defense isn't the best, but his grappling is really, really good. He always attacks submissions. And his boxing, despite his high guard not being super closed and those straight punches getting through at times, like, his boxing is really good. 3-7 in the UFC. Tough look for a guy that I just love watching on the regional scene. 2-0 in Bellator, 1-0 in Ryzen, lost his Contender Series. Really good performance against Elijah Smith. Elijah Smith he won 2 rounds, right? Good performance against Taylor Lapilou. Taylor Lapilou won 2, maybe even 3 rounds, right? On the regional scene, upon being cut from the UFC, got a win against a mega guy, but then beat a solid guy in Front Street. Beat the guy fighting for the Ryzen title in a few hours. Yuki Montoya, the king of deep as well, multiple-time deep champion. Guerrero, who was a tough title contender, he beat. And then he beat Hunter Azur, who was a tough contender, if I'm not mistaken, or tough Ultimate Fighter participant, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure. Hunter Azur? No, he just straight up UFC fighter. Never mind. Contender Series and UFC fighter. There you go. And he beat him via his Peruvian necktie, which he loves. So, again, all the skill is there, just is it at the level of UFC? Especially at 34 years of age. This is his last little run here to stay in the promotion, and the UFC gives him another tough opponent in Raul Rosas Jr. I think this is a great test for Raul Rosas Jr. As, look, he won the last fight, out-grappled his opponent as he should have, just didn't look as dominant, I think, as we had hoped. Beat Ricky Tercio as he should have. Beat Terrence Mitchell as he should have. Lost to Christian Rodriguez. He got out-grappled by Christian Rodriguez and outboxed in that one. Which I don't think Vince Morales is going to out-grapple him, but Vince Morales can escape back takes and can scramble. So, honestly, by the way, Raul Rosas Jr. is a lot bigger than he's just getting a lot bigger, right? He's only 20 years of age, so he's still growing. And, yeah, I don't want to say towered over Vince Morales, but I thought they were going to be about the same size. I was surprised to see Raul Rosas Jr. Bigger than him as well. Yeah, a couple inches taller. Morales will have the reach. So if Morales can keep this on the feet, I think he'll win 2 out of the 3 rounds. But I think Raul Rosas Jr. is just going to get the better of him on the ground. And instead of attacking maybe submissions, probably just go for dominant positions, ground and pound. Having said that, he probably can submit Vince Morales. He is that talented. 6 submissions, 2 KO TKOs. But if he wants to work on his boxing, this is the wrong fight to do it. It's not like Vince Morales is the most polished striker, but he can scrap. And I think if this stays on the feet, he'll do what he did to Montoya against Raul Rosas Jr. Having said that, I'm picking Raul Rosas Jr. to win. I think this will probably be a competitive fight, just like all of Vince Morales' fights. But Raul Rosas Jr. will either get the submission later in the fight and or just win, kind of like he beat Oriki Lang. All right, so this next fight was canceled, ladies and gentlemen, but I was going to pick Joe Pyfer to win, be like Joe Pyfer. So let's get to the co-main event here, and then we'll jump over to FCR. Hoping Erceg doesn't go on a Tony Ferguson slide. He ate a bad taco. Dude, Kelvin Gastelum poisoned him. Kelvin Gastelum poisoned him. They did the burrito challenge too early. Look. Wrong street food vendor. Anyways, Manuel Torres against Drew Dober. Now, Manuel Torres lost his last fight against Ignacio Bahamondes. No shame in there. Ignacio Bahamondes is an absolute beast, as we're continuing to see as he continues to develop. I guess it still says plus 100 here on Tapology. This is pretty much a pick'em, ladies and gentlemen. This is pretty much a pick'em. We got a striker with a lot of tools, but who likes to go for that one-shot knockout versus a brawler in Drew Dober who is more of a volume striker than just looks for that one shot. Yeah, that one could really go either way. I did go over it already, so rewind the tape for that one, as I got to keep moving here because I got a stream to get to here in a few minutes. I did pick C-Rod to win, but I bet on Costa. So win-win, baby, win-win. I think really that one could go either way. But yeah, I don't want to get into it again because I already spent quite a bit of time on it. But yes, could go either way. Could go either way. Great to see you, by the way, Brandon. Or Brian, sorry. Brian Rodas, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Drew Dober, 27-14 as a pro. 36 years of age. This one should be a banger, ladies and gentlemen. 1-3 in his last 4 fights for Drew Dober. So there is that to note. Drew Dober's not going to be around forever, ladies and gentlemen. Especially since he's been in a ton of wars, and his Chad chin, starting to fade. Now, am I saying he's super chinny? No. Is he in Chuck Liddell territory? Absolutely not. But he's getting knocked down. He's getting cracked more often than none these days. 11 KO TKOs, 9 submissions, 7 decisions, 13-10-1 in the UFC. I mean, what a great career. An absolute amazing fighting Jean Silva, who took that fight on short notice, by the way, up a weight class. Lost to Moicano and Jean Silva. Again, no shame in those losses, but tough losses, tough losses. He took a lot of damage in those fights. Great win against Ricky Glenn. Got knocked out by Matt Frivola. Alves, Green, Terrence McKinney. He beats all the right around the rankings and right under guys. But at this point in his career, especially with the up-and-comers and more of the dangerous opponents, like Manuel Torres, it might be tough for him. Now, again, Manuel Torres has more striking tools. He's got elbows, he's got knees, whereas Drew Dober, in and out of the pocket, great boxing, does have good leg kicks, I will say, and Drew Dober has decent wrestling, right? He's good everywhere, great in the striking. Torres, I don't want to say he's incredibly well-rounded, but he's not bad on the ground, has some decent scrambles, but he wants to go for the knockout. I think, honestly, if Torres, I don't want to say switched up his style, but maybe tried to set up some of those shots with combos and focused a little bit, just even a smidge more of volume, I think he could be even more of a dangerous fighter, especially up against a guy like Drew Dober here, who is gonna in and out of the pocket with 3 or 4 shots, go low, go high, leg kicks, mix it up there, whereas Torres could mix it up with knees, body shots, elbows in range, out of the pocket, but really just looks for that spinning elbow, right? Looks for that high kick. He does have a pretty good chin in his own right, though, so this one just should be a brawl. 7 KO TKOs, 7 submissions. So like I said, by no means is he bad on the ground. He attacks submissions on the ground as well, but he could get out-wrestled by a guy just with strength, which Drew Dober does have. But Torres is a little bit more lankier than him. 1 decision. I love that he likes to finish his fights, man. I love that he likes to finish his fights. It was on a hell of a run before losing to Bahamondes, which, again, no shame in that. Vince Pichel, baby, let's go. Yeah, no problem, Brian, no problem. Good to see you, Matt X. I am going Torres on this one. Again, dropped $2 on him. He was plus 100 yesterday, so, okay, yup. Why not? But this one pretty much is a pick 'em now. I don't know what the live odds. I don't have a tab open, but there you go. Good to see you, Rafael. Good to see you. But yeah, I am going Manuel Torres to win this one, but this one could be a brawl and Drew Dober could land more volume and ultimately they could just each show a lot of damage. So that could be the factor. Banking on Torres to get it done. A little maybe passing of the guard here for just badass lightweights who just go ham and put on shows. Drew Dober's not going to be in the UFC forever, but hopefully we get a couple more great fights, and this one should be a good one out of him. All right, main event of the evening, and then we'll jump over to FCR, ladies and gentlemen. We have Brandon Moreno against Steve Erceg. Brandon Moreno actually fought 4 months ago and schooled Amir Albazi, ladies and gentlemen. Before then, lost a close decision to Brandon Royval and a close split decision to Pantoja. Before then, continued to take out Davison Figueiredo. What a series that was. 11 submissions, 5 KO TKOs, 6 decisions. He's a very good jiu-jitsu guy. He's a very good wrestler. He's an incredible boxer. I mean, we know how good he is. He's never been knocked out, never been submitted. He does get knocked down in fights, but doesn't get knocked out. 10-5-2 for the former champ in the UFC, 1-0 in LFA. Just has beaten and fought the best that flyweight has had to offer in the UFC for, I mean, almost a decade, right? Unbelievable. Steve Erceg, the new blood, even though he's almost the same age. I mean, it's crazy. The Assassin Baby's been fighting for so long. He's got slick jiu-jitsu, and he's a little bit more lanky. Actually, not even. Not even, to be perfectly honest. He just different type of frame, which is good for jiu-jitsu, let's just say. He's not bigger than Moreno by any means, though. Like, slightly, but anyways. His striking is not as good. Like, Moreno's boxing is way more polished. Does he have good power, especially with that step back hook? Absolutely. But I think he'll be outboxed by Moreno if he takes this, if he tries to keep this on the feet. And I think on the ground, sure, he might have some slick jiu-jitsu, but Moreno does as well. Moreno has the better wrestling, and I do think Moreno will out-grapple him overall. I think Moreno has better takedown defense. I think the only really way to take down Moreno is just a perfectly executed trip takedown or like a judo throw, because up against the cage, it's hard to take down. Even if you blitz a double leg or a single leg, if you take him down, he'll come right back up to his feet. And Steve Erceg likes to blitz with hooks or like straight 1-2 punches as he steps in to go for the takedowns. And Brandon Moreno, even if he gets taken down by one of those, he's not going to give up position for long, and he'll get back up to his feet. Lupita Godinez, if she employs fight IQ. Michael Scott versus McLovin. So, I mean, this should be a great fight. Steve Erceg, I do think will lose this one. I am going with Brandon Moreno. Like I said, I think he's better everywhere, maybe on par just with like the straight jiu-jitsu, but overall grappling, he's just the better fighter. He showed that he's not in a decline, like, right? And if Steve Erceg loses this one, I mean, assuming he doesn't get just flatline knocked out, I still don't think like he's down and out. I still think he's a very good flyweight competitor. The flyweight division is stacked, man. There's not a lot of movement at the top of the division. It's kind of log jammed like lightweight right now, but there is a lot of like the guys that are still there fighting are solid, right? So I'm excited for just more matchups as they hopefully continue to grow that division. Like, I know it's not going to work out now, but like down the road, a Kyaskar Steve Erceg fight would be awesome, right? So anyways, those are my picks, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to jump over to FCR here in a moment, but quickly, let's get to the safe, the degenerate, and the underdogs that I like on the card. The safe parlay, well, it was broken because of Joe Pyfer. So I'll switch it up here and go. All right, safe parlay, we'll go Martinez, Moreno, and Cháirez because Pyfer's not in it anymore. Degenerate parlay, we're going Morales, Medina, Miranda. And the underdogs that I like, Hubbard, Pichel, Costa, Borjas, I guess Torres, he's not an underdog anymore, and Erceg. All good underdogs. All good underdogs. Yeah, David Martinez is taking Pyfer's place in the safe parlay. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining. Let's jump over to some Swedish mixed martial arts here. That is we're going to be joining the main card broadcast of FCR. 5 minutes late to that stream. I'm sure someone's commenting in there, but I did say that we would be jumping over to there after this stream ends. Here's the link to it, ladies and gentlemen. Go check it out. We're literally going to jump over to it right now. I don't know why it says 58 minutes. We're going to jump over to it right now. We're going to jump over to it right now, ladies and gentlemen. So go check it out, FCR 23. And yeah, we'll see you guys in a few minutes. Let me know if you're, let me know in the comments of this live stream too what your picks are. And the UFC stream, it's already ready. I'm going to make it public an hour before it starts. So there you go. There you go. The IKEA Fighting Championship, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to the Swedish meatballs. Always remember, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll see you for a little FCR. Peace. Yeah.